problem that they have. The reason why it's dying is that governments are too lazy to enact legislation, which is why it kind of incentivizes MNCs to do whatever the hell they want with the government. The solution is then for the government, who's been too lazy up to this point to do anything about this problem, is for them to support by proxy and attack all these factories, right? It's kind of lazy, I'm sorry for this reference, it's kind of like being in therapy with your own rapist, isn't it? It's the most weirdest solution I've ever heard to a problem encountered on such a massive scale. You bomb a few factories, you do the most aggressive acts imaginable, and then you magically hope, ladies and gentlemen, that these people who are driven by profit, who are driven by money, who are driven by greed, will suddenly decide, you know what, this is just too much for me. That is basically the solution proposed by them throughout their entire thing. Their entire substantive, ladies and gentlemen, has been about justification after justification, and never really about what are the effects of this policy going to be about. Because what we have shown you, ladies and gentlemen, time after time again, is number one, as much as we empathize with the causes of eco-terrorism, like we want the ecology to be there when we need it to be, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that every single policy will work. And what we have shown you, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's no concrete way to show that this policy will lead to the end product that they have said it would do, right? Their continual referral that laws necessarily do not work, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we see the ecosystem, first of all, isn't failing, right? There are dangers both ways, no matter how you swing this debate, right? There are there are human needs out there that needs to be factored in, and there's the needs of the ecology. We want both of these sides to be considered. If you allow eco-terrorists such a large entry into this debate, how can you necessarily hope for a rational ending? These people are terrorists. They have said, I don't want to talk to people, I want to bomb their factories and scare the living crap out of them. That is the solution to the way natural society and laws have worked, right? So that in itself, ladies and gentlemen, we feel is very, very ineffective, right? Also, ladies and gentlemen, I think the government here has no idea of the word evolution, right? When species die, other things take their place. I don't think we really have any concern as to whether every single species out there needs to be protected. No, we understand some species will die, some species will go away. It is the natural way that things are worked. The reason why this hall has been built in an area that has been forested for millions of years is because our interests have trumped the interests of the ecology. I'm pretty sure if this government was around 400 years ago, some eco-terrorists probably have bombed this place, and we would be having this debate somewhere else, right? So that, once again, you see, the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at things in a rational manner, we have needs, ladies and gentlemen, for both sides. We have the human need, and we have the needs of the ecosystem. Neither side can necessarily trump the other, right? If you want to balance the equation a little bit, we should use dialogue, we should use legislation, we should use methods that ensure that both sides get heard, right? She keeps bringing on emotive points about how the people living in the Brazilian rainforest are all going to die because the dam is built. That dam is built to ensure that Brazil's future electrical supply is conserved because they are imagining a huge population increase, right? What is necessarily so wrong about that decision? You arm eco-terrorists, they bomb that dam, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years from now, 1 million Brazilians won't even live under the basic necessities that they deserve, right? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're supporting a group that has no idea on how to bring a rational conclusion to a discussion that's necessarily so important, right? And we see serious dangers in that, as we have time and again pointed out, right? They haven't really necessarily dealt with either one of our substantives either, ladies and gentlemen. That on the point that there is a danger to their cause the moment you bring such a violent medium into it. The reason why Greenpeace and WWF have been so successful, ladies and gentlemen, is because they've taken the mainstream group. Is they've decided to follow laws, either decided to lobby government and get laws passed that way, right? Terrorism, violent acts do not always lead to that in itself, right? The conflict of interest point in itself was very valid, ladies and gentlemen, because we showed that you can't necessarily hope that a government will choose groups that will affect the greatest ecological change, even though we contend there isn't one. They're going to choose groups that will send the greatest political message on their behalf. They're not going to choose groups that benefit the ecology in itself, right? So on all levels, ladies and gentlemen, we feel that science proposition have moved away from the mainstream. They haven't. They've conflated a situation that doesn't exist. They've equated it to a solution which isn't going to work whatsoever. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very proud to oppose. Thank you.
And to finish the last speech of today's debate, Natalie, here.